Welcome to Industry Insights with Route Consultant, your front row seat to the fast-moving world of logistics and beyond. Each week, we bring you game-changing insights, real-world strategies, and fresh perspectives to fuel smarter investments and build stronger businesses. Join us as we sit down with expert guests to explore emerging trends and pressing topics across a wide range of industries. This is Industry Insights. Hey everyone, welcome to Industry Insights. This is a special episode that was actually recorded live at the Route Consultant Expo in 2026. We're releasing this over time so that if you weren't at the expo, or if you missed the session, or if you're just catching up, these are all coming out over the course of the year so that you can go back and watch this content and make sure that you see everything that we went over at the expo. Today you're going to hear from Brenda Shelley and our P&D Contractor panel in this live FedEx-focused Q&A.
Hello everyone.
Speaking of the microphones.
Come on in, have a seat, if you would. We are going to ask the operators, and this is the P&D edition. We've got Donnie Pell and his BC Steven from Chattanooga, and some of you may have already met Amy and Dave Byers, and they do a lot of their contracting up in Ohio. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Better.
Okay, good. Got it. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you individually, a little bit about what they do, and then I'm going to ask the first question for you and have them answer it any way they like, and then we'll take questions from all of you, and you guys can ask the questions, okay?
All right, hi, I'm Dave Byers, president of Slicker Trucking. Mainly operate in Ohio, a little bit in Pittsburgh as well, and we own P&D, line haul, and custom critical.
I'm Amy Byers. If you don't know me, been around a couple days. Dave and I operate the fleet together. I do most of the HR operations in contract side, and he does the actual trucking operations, managing the guys. Stops, managing the relationships with FedEx. He's the AO, only AO. We have one entity and multiple contracts. So just as you guys kind of figure out your structure, that's how we've structured it. Just to give you a little bit of insight.
Hey, I'm Stephen Pfister. We are E&M Logistics out of Chattanooga. I've been with E&M for 5.5 years now. My main focus is HR kind of stuff as well, admin type stuff, spreadsheets, nerd stuff like that. So you have any spreadsheet questions, let me know.
I'm Donnie Pell. I'm the owner of E&M Logistics. Been a contractor for 20 years. Yeah, that's basically it. Any other thing? I mean, I'm open book, so I'd love to hear the questions coming. That's good.
Excellent. So the first question for all of you is, what is the single biggest operational change you've made in the last year that improved profitability?
I'll go. Recently, we took about 90% or 95% of our maintenance to ourselves in-house. I hired my own mechanic. I have my own, so we have 6 mechanics on hand. Our staff, we have about 75 vans, depending on what day, if one's broke or not. So sometimes it's 65, sometimes it's 75. But yeah, we do all that in-house. The only thing we don't touch is engines. We don't replace engines or transmissions. We do everything else. I mean, to the T. So that was the one thing that really kind of changed for us last year. So we started that last year. We'd always done something like that, but not all of it. So yeah, so now we've scaled to that position, and that has been probably the number one thing that we did recently to do that. So that's what I say.
We've done a few kind of changing things, but one of the main things that pops up is we bought a tow truck. We had a tractor breakdown in Buffalo, New York. We had to tow it all the way back to Cleveland. And it was like $4,000. And I said, that's the first and last time we're going to do that. And we went and we we found a tow truck. It's used. So we decided we'd dip our toes in that water, give it a try. We had a tow company that teaches a tow truck school, I think in the Carolinas, came up to our office in Ohio, and they taught a two-day class on how to do everything, and I took part in that, and we learned how to do towing, and boom, we got our own tow truck. So we're saving all that money that we would spend on tows and doing it all ourselves.
Fantastic answers, guys. Amy, you have more?
I was going to say with the tow, it's not just breakdowns. So because we're regional, our maintenance shop can actually tow healthy trucks back to the terminals as well.
Yeah.
So I don't need 2 BCs to shuttle trucks back and forth anymore because my tow guy can take a healthy truck back, pick up a truck, and bring it back for PM work. And they can the maintenance crew can handle the logistics as well. And then one thing on the line haul side, we did move to putting nitrous in the tires. And that was probably a $4,000 to $5,000 a month change for us. It costs a lot of money, but the net savings was huge. So our miles per gallon went from the high 8s to almost 10 miles a gallon on our line haul trucks. Yeah, huge.
We also as well didn't do the tow thing, but we bought 2 massive trailers. So we have a 23-foot trailer and a 40-foot trailer, so we can haul any. So that's another thing we did as well. So yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Not as cool as a tow truck.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to get on that now.
Listen,
Look at that.
she's a beast. She is a giant, old 1989 monster, but she does the job. But we didn't want to buy like a $200,000 tow truck.
Absolutely.
If we didn't know what that line of business was going to look like. So now we did, it was like a $30,000 investment. Our maintenance crew got it up to par. We were in the process of wrapping it in FedEx or our Slicker logo and brand, like our maintenance trucks. But it's just, it gave us the knowledge to jump in, and then now we're ready to improve on the technology and maybe even a smaller tow truck for our P&D, like winch outs and stuff like that.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you were going to expand that thought and maybe even offer your towing services to other contractors that might need it.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone have a question in the audience? Hang on 1 second. She's going to bring that mic to you.
Hey, good afternoon. Quick question. In P&D, as far as salary, paying your employees, I've heard a lot of different things as far as incentive-based, straight salary. I personally had a 2013, 2015, I was a one-man, one truck with a driver, P&D, home delivery back in the day. Got out of it, looking to get back in now again, potentially. I remember building in some incentives to keep people motivated. Has that changed? What other incentives have been created, or could you create to maintain people motivated and also making good money?
Okay, so payroll is a tricky question. It is dependent on the state that you're in. I always say whatever pay model you go with, make sure that you have an hours and wage attorney review that. And that's not an employment law attorney. That's not your business attorney. It's not your LLC, attorney. It's a hours and wage attorney. This is a big area of audit on the FedEx side. They want to make sure that you're paying your people correctly. And based on your state, you may have regulations as to how you have to pay people based on the truck size that they're in. So in the state of Ohio, anyone under 10K, like in a cargo van or a single rear wheel 14-footer, if you will, would be required to be an hourly employee. Okay, which means that also in the state of Ohio, you can't pay flat rate bonuses or piece rate on anything to hourly employees. It then contributes to the recalculation of hourly wage and overtime, and that is a FedEx no-no. So, make sure that you're looking at, if you have all big trucks, right, all P1000s or line haul, pay them per mile, pay them a flat rate plus per stop, pay them all per stop, pay them an extra $100 a day, doesn't matter. So you can work on that. It's the same in Ohio for big trucks. One key is that if that is one of the laws in your state, we pay now all of our drivers, all the P&D drivers, this hourly wage, because in our state, if the driver is in a small truck just one day or one moment, that week they are fully calculated at the lower hourly rate, okay? Or not the lower rate, but at that pay type, okay? So that would mean that if the driver came in and he was in a 14-foot dually, and that truck was in for service, and he came in that day and had a single 14-footer, that I would have to know that in the office, and my payroll people would have to know that in the office to make sure that he was paid hourly that day. Or what if we had a rescue, right? And he was in a rental for a day, and it was just a Nissan Transit or a Ford Transit, right? And the guy's normally in a cutaway or a bigger truck, maybe a P700, and we had to put him in something for a rental. Or what if he picked up on a Saturday and it was a different route? We're like, hey man, I need you to run this route. I am not in the business of keeping track of all of those moving parts, and I can't have my guys do it. So we pay everyone the same hourly calculation, regardless of the truck. Obviously, the hourly wage is different based on the size truck, the route type, et cetera. And then because we can't do incentives that are piece rate, we can do a percentage bonus. And the reason you can do that is it's a percentage of total gross wages. So overtime's already calculated, so there's no recalculation of that overtime. Very complex, but when you get to that point and you decide this is how I'm gonna pay my people, just float it by an hours and wage attorney. If you're ever audited by FedEx and you have that stamp of approval, all you have to say in the email is, this has been reviewed and approved by my hours and wage attorney, and almost 90% of the time they'll back off you immediately, because that's what they're looking for. They want to make sure that you're using the professionals in the right industry. If you say, hey, my lawyer looked at it, they think that that's the guy that set up your LLC or your corporation, right? You need a special attorney that understands the hours and wage law in your state. If you're in multiple states, make sure that whatever you set up in your first operation applies to the second operation, right? If you're crossing state lines, same thing with workers' comp. So make sure you're leaning on your right professionals.
Excellent. Great information.
Hello. If you were to go back and buy your first P&D route, what would be some of the top 3 things that you would be looking for? And then on the flip side, what would be some major red flags that you would try to stay away from?
One of the main things I would check is the area. Make sure it's a good area, nice population, safe for the drivers to be driving around in. And we are, I mean, it was one van back then, so I was the guy driving it. So I wanted to make sure it was kind of something that I'd be willing to do it myself.
I would say that the first thing I would look at now, because doing it then, it was just a totally different game. It was one man doing that one thing. If I was looking now back at it, if I was trying to get into it now, I would look at fleet, what the fleet you're getting, if you're buying into it, what the fleet looks like. Area would be definitely on my top of my list as well, but knowing what you have in the fleet, or what you're going to get in a fleet if you're trying to buy into something is paramount. It's going to be the make or break to me as far as like what you're buying into. Because if you buy into something that's completely torn apart, you're gonna flip that bill, and so that's what I would look at.
Unless it's a fire sale.
Exactly. Now,
right? If they're selling it appropriately with a bunch of terrible trucks.
There's different levels of that question, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Also, growth potential in that area, you know. Is there going to be a lot of development and all of a sudden your package count's going to expand exponentially? Or is it already a rural area and kind of set? You know, do you want that area, that kind of area? Are you looking for a stop every 30 seconds kind of area? I would say take a look at that as well.
So one of the things from the financial side, that being able to compare kind of all of our different contracts, one of the things I tell people is don't shy away from the hybrid markets, right? So if there's a contract that has density and rural, it kind of makes the FedEx algorithm go kind of crazy, and they don't know how to process it. They don't know how to pitch it. They don't know how to do a PCAT or a MISO for it. So it gives you a lot of opportunity because the rural can be so rural that there's so many unique characteristics, and then the density can be so dense, and that hybrid, they have a hard time figuring out how to pay, so they really lean on the contractors to explain the differences. And I would say that my hybrid contracts are my most profitable because you have the rural and they know that you need to drive 270 miles to get that one stop. It's a loss leader. And then because they have to pay you for that, you capitalize on the density of the dense routes. So the hybrid markets are kind of where, that's kind of my secret when people are like, yeah, it's got all this density, but then it's got all this rural. I'm like, oh my God, dollar signs, right? Take it. Yeah, that's kind of, so if I were to tell Dave, like if we were hunting for the perfect mix for us, that would be the one that I would search for. It's not easy. It's much more difficult to manage, right? It costs a little bit more to manage. Maintenance is going to cost a little bit more, but the value of the contract and the net profitability is higher on those types of contracts.
She's absolutely right on everything on that. That's the reason why probably my early success, if it's any success at all, was because I had rural routes on and they just couldn't figure it out. I mean, so you could really play with FedEx with that and say, look, they will listen to you in that situation because they don't want to go out there, but I guarantee you can make some serious money out there if you know what you're doing. And you have to be, you said it yesterday very well. Unique characteristics in doing that is very much a very great. What you said about yesterday was amazing. It's good. So yeah.
So we, just to give you an idea, in our rural contract, it's rural. In that particular contract, we had submitted so many unique characteristics. I mean, videos of how long these driveways were, videos of the terrain, videos of the speed limits. Like I said earlier, that were 25 miles an hour. We were going 15. FedEx actually sent a team of people to do ride-alongs with us. And this is a funny one, and it's true, 100% true.
Good for you.
But they got in the truck with us, and the guy that rode with one of our guys on the most rural route, Adam will tell you this, the FedEx guy called off the next day because he said he was so uncomfortable from bumping around in those roads. I said, well, that's funny because my guy actually had to come to work the next day and deliver all those boxes again. So, but they did. They said, they were the ones that said, oh my gosh, the posted speed is 25. The guy was going 15 and I felt like I was unsafe. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, so now you get that when Dro says that this is what I can do because of 25 mile an hour speed zones, you can now take that and exponentially reduce it because my guys can only go 10 to 15 miles an hour, right? And there's all these hurdles. And they, when they look from that office in PGH, right, at Pittsburgh, and they're in the office and they see a bunch of dots on a screen, you have to paint the picture of what this looks like.
Because they go, well, it's just one dot to the next. It's just right there.
It's just this. And I'm like,
topography,
okay.
They take no account for topography.
Yeah. So if you can paint that picture, that rural, again, it's a little bit, bumpy and it's a little bit clunky and it doesn't feel good all the time. But you put those pieces in place. But my guys, I mean, our average stop count, we have guys going out with 20, 30 stops on routes because it's so rural. The stem to get to the first stop is so long. But that's where, that's where, if I had to pick and choose what contract I would go after first, from a financial standpoint, that would be in it. If I recommend which one you should get in it to learn the business, if you have no idea what you're doing, I would say find a nice, sweet 10 route, maybe a little bit of hybrid, but nice area to kind of learn and get your feet wet, get that success built so that you can replicate it and kind of go in that direction.
Hi guys. So the question is, if you're a brake operator, so if you're operating in two terminals that are 100 miles apart, or 90, or pick 50 miles, are you able to share your drivers and BC across the terminal to back up those terminals in P&D?
So you're saying if there's two terminals, can you use those drivers in both terminals?
Yeah.
Yes. you're allowed to do that. Well, I know that from the areas I do. If we have, we can use our own drivers in other terminals like that. If you have two different contracts, but that's just in Tennessee that we've done that in. So I'm not positive, other than contingency wise, if they can do that separately in other states. I would be misspeaking there, but I know that we can use those. We've done it in other terminals in the same state. But that would be a question. You might know a little bit on that.
We operate all as one entity. So since we run as one entity, we can crisscross all of our drivers across the different networks. We can even have P&D guys run line haul and pay that all the same. The question that comes into play is if you have multiple entities, if you work entity A on Monday and entity B on Tuesday, that would have to get paid out in 2 checks, because you can't combine that check even though it's one owner on the entities. It pays out separate because the FedEx audit recognizes the entities separately than how it works. We had multiple entities for a while when we first started, and we realized it was a lot easier and cleaner for us to just run it all as one entity so that we could crisscross. So we can go any terminal, and the payroll stays really clean for Amy in the office.
So from an availability standpoint, all you have to do is make your driver available in whatever terminal. Once they're approved as a FedEx driver, they can literally drive anywhere in the country. Sure. They just have to be made, so your domicile is the terminal that you screen them in, but they can be made available to drive at any terminal that they do business in. So all of our drivers are pretty much crisscrossed. So in 5 different terminals, we are our own contingency plan, right? We're our internal contingency. So if we have in the summer a ton of vacations in one terminal, we can send drivers from another terminal down there. And again, we're super regional, so we're no more than 45 minutes to an hour and a half away from any terminal. They can just jump down there and say, hey, I'm sending Sarah down to drive for you guys today. She's going to cover so-and-so's route, and vice versa. So the availability is easy. The payroll does have to be, if you're separate entities, you have to, like Dave said, you have to pay them accordingly to what entity they work. Slicker is one entity, so it's super easy. I don't care where they work. As long as they're working, they'll show up on a scanner and it all comes in, so I can tell where they work.
Well, on the BC, right?
I'm sorry?
The BC?
Yep, same
is applicable.
Same exact situation.
Yeah, because if the BC is missing or he goes on vacation, then can you use the BC on the other terminal?
So
right?
these guys work in every terminal once a week. They just, that's their job. They all go to different terminals. They all have different strengths. They all have different skill sets, and so they're bouncing around to different terminals every day almost.
Hey guys, we just wanted to pause for a moment to invite you to our free events that are happening throughout the year. Whether you're just getting started in the logistics industry or you're looking to optimize your current operation, Route Consultant has events that are designed specifically for you. So head on over to routeconsultant.com/events or check out our show notes to register for free today. Also, while you're here, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Industry Insights with Route Consultant podcast so that you don't miss out on the stories, the advice, and the updates that are happening throughout the industry. We appreciate you being here and hope to meet you in person soon. Now let's get back to the episode.
Any other questions? There, we got 2.
Right here.
Nope.
Said nope. Up here in the front, we got, what was your biggest oh shit moment?
Unfortunately,
Today?
Today or last week? Over the 20 years? You got a minute?
it's kind of a little serious in our situation, but recently we had a driver that passed away on route, and it was still emotional to me talking about it. She'd worked for us for a year, and a guy came across the median and just killed her, and we had nothing to do with us. And it has, even now, I mean, I've taken phone calls all day today about that one situation that happened. She died the day before Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And it was just, she had four young kids and just absolutely threw us for a loop. And so I don't say that for any kind of bombastic thing other than to say that absolutely is some of those things. Have I had others? You're damn right. All kinds of crazy stuff. But that one right there was the one that just kind of really questioned, do I want to be in this game because of just something like that? But, things happen. And as long as I knew that I'd done everything in my power with my being safe and whatever, which thank the Lord that it did. There's nothing wrong. She did absolutely nothing wrong. And even FedEx came in there and was like, yeah, man, they concurred. But it was just, that is one that I would say. And so to say that you're sheltered by that just because FedEx is there, you are absolutely not. You will deal with that situation or something in that, somebody getting hurt. We've had people get hurt very badly. So I would say that, thinking, oh, because you're with FedEx, you might not deal with that. You will absolutely deal with it, and you have to be prepared. And we were, we had great insurance companies, and there's plenty of people that I deal with with Route Consultant peoples that are vendors of ours that were there with us and that happened. So yeah, but that would be one. Yeah.
What about you?
Pass.
Biggest oh shit moment?
It's too hard to talk about.
It's so hard.
Dave, you want to lighten it up?
There's no way to like. It's just, it's okay.
No, it's great.
It's okay because we live it. We love it. It's what we do. It's life. I mean, any type of accident is kind of an oh shit moment. But as leader of the company, we got to hit it head on. We don't have a choice. We have to support our driver. We have to be there for him. We got to carry that. We got to carry the stick, and we have to go and address it, regardless of how it makes us feel. We have to go to the scene. We have to see whatever's happening, and we have to deal with it. And it's just one of those things that happen in the trucking industry when we put 20,000 miles a day on these P&D trucks. I mean, stuff's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we've been in it for 20 years. We've seen about everything there is to see.
Yeah.
And the most important thing for us is try to make sure that our drivers go home at night. And that's our number one goal, is to see these guys go home to their families at the end of the day.
So to lighten it up a little bit, I
thank
think
you.
in general, some oh shit moments, not necessarily for us, but that you can kind of come across in the network, would be a BC getting DQ'd for falsifying the badge that somebody runs under because somebody's over DOT hours, so they run a driver under a different badge. Drivers failing a drug test, drivers getting a DUI. Those are a lot of oh shit moments when you're like, hey, everything's great, good dude, right? Stud of a driver, everything's great. You are DQ'd for life now, sir, because you got a DUI. Thank you for that, right? And you are absolutely held to the contract. You can't say, I mean, unless you got a landscape company or you got a little bit of work around the house, right? You can no longer employ that person. That's an oh shit moment. And it affects you, right? Because you have to deal with terminating them and putting the contract work together. You have to deal with separating. You have to deal with caring about a human that made a mistake, that is now carrying that DUI for life, but now also lost a job, might have a family, so a mistake carries for a long time. And now you got to cover his route with no notice, right? You're DQ'd today. So drug tests, so I think those are kind of the biggest oh shit moments when they come across. Even like a speeding ticket. If you get 2 speeding tickets in your personal vehicle in 12 months, you're suspended for 60 days. Mm-hmm. And they run the MVR. And if your guy doesn't tell you, like, hey, I got a speeding ticket, then all of a sudden FedEx goes, hey, by the way, Amy's DQ'd for 60 days. And you're like, she's en route. He's like, yeah, somebody needs to go get her. And not just call her back. You're no longer allowed to drive the truck. It's got boxes on it. Park the truck and I will go get you. You're done. It's so oh shit. Yeah. So to lighten it up a little bit, those are those shit moments.
And that's when those plans, like plans upon backup plans for, in all of my I'm our CT, right? So I teach all of our safety classes, pre-hire and all that kind of fun stuff. I talk about constantly the what if, all the what if things that even just the driver has to deal with, much less an AO, a BC that's running the day, the HR, whatever. I don't like surprises.
Right. But they're there.
I'm sure none of you enjoy surprises in your business, right? And so it's like, okay, let's say I have a DUI and a phone call and hey, sit the truck. I got to be able to go, okay, I know that I've got this lead doing this right now, so I can pull them out and do that, and then have this person come over here and cover that, and then we'll be copacetic for the day. We'll take a breath and go, okay, what's tomorrow look like?
Yeah.
Right, and so it's those backup plans for backup plans that.
And I think to touch on the accident, we've had, again, not at fault, but we've had fatalities and crazy things happen. We've had trailers catch on fire, and the EPA and the bomb squad had to shut down the freeway and come see us. I mean, crazy, crazy things. But what I can tell you is in the crazy moments, when I put my head on the pillow at night, I know that I'm compliant. I don't cheat, right? I'm not cutting corners. And I know that in the worst situation, that when FedEx asks me something, I can look at my guys and they're like, we did everything right, right? So all my boxes are checked, and we have the footage, the cameras work, right? And everything's in place. So lean on your vendors, make sure that your guys aren't cheating, right? So if you got in an accident, if that would have happened and that lady was not the badge that she was running under, right? Like, and those are the moments, right? Murphy's Law says when shit goes sideways, it's gonna go sideways when you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, right? Same thing we tell our teenagers, right? But honestly, like, that's what saved you, is that you were like, thank God she was doing what she was doing. Thank God you had paid the insurances, and that that all the, whether she had life insurance or what have you, through you, like, everything was, all your check boxes, you can put your head in at night and just say, like, okay, like, for me, that's a lot of lives, right? Carrying 200 plus lives, like, putting my head on the pillow and going, I've done the right thing today, it feels good. But I also know that I'm protecting not just myself, every decision that Dave and I make. So when we go to country concerts or we go to the ball game, we'll take a car service. Everybody's like, oh, must be nice. I'm like, no, I'm protecting you. Me spending the money on a car service so that he and I can have a couple drinks and get behind the wheel and not get behind the wheel of a car, that's to protect 200 people, to make sure that I don't make mistakes that would jeopardize their careers and their families and Rusty's kids and Mike's wife, right? Like, those are important things. So that's just a touch on that. I think just an add on.
Very good.
Okay, awesome. Orange.
Hello. Okay. My question is related to starting up. So we are trying to determine if we should be starting with vans or with actual trucks. What would you recommend for the P&D route? And also for the average, I guess, startup, how many vehicles would you recommend to get started?
Vans are,
Well, that's
chicken
kind
or the egg,
that's
right?
yeah, it's kind of a loaded question. It just depends on the area, which we talked about a little bit earlier. It'll depend how many miles you're going to run, how many stops that route has, how many stops you can do on a route. So you have to take all that into account and then kind of go from there. But knowing the background of it is going to get you a good footprint. Or if you're getting it from somebody else, like what are they currently using, will give you a good way to gauge kind of what you need. And the terminal is pretty good about suggesting earthquake.
They're tearing down.
Suggesting what you need. So they give us a lot of insight when we go into new terminals, like, hey, you can run this with 5 P1000s and 4 cutaways or what, and then you just want to be the stops per resource. We really rely on that a lot, and what the goal is for that to kind of balance it out.
For a new contractor, the way that you think about it is less miles, more packages, bigger truck, more miles, less packages, smaller truck, right? So think about rural, you're gonna need nimble, you're gonna need smaller for driveways, right? You can't take a big P1000 in the country up a rickety gravel road. So just think of it that way, right? So if you buy a more suburban, dense route area, you're gonna need more of those P1000, P700 type trucks. If you are in the country, you might need a rugged truck like a cutaway, maybe smaller box, 12 foot, 14 foot. And then really rural, you're just gonna need kind of a little shuttle truck, right? Maybe even lean in on an APV, which is an alternate package vehicle, which can be like a passenger vehicle, That's like a pickup truck with a box on the back of it. So we have rural routes that get that rural, where we're just like, ooh, take one or two, go, get rolling.
We're a bit of a unicorn. The way we do things is we have no panel trucks, and people will be, and we have some areas where we could use them, but
We
just
have none either.
Yeah,
We just,
yeah.
our manager has a truck if we have to use it.
So,
Yeah.
so I would say I made the decision as a contractor to just get off diesel in delivery. I don't have, and look, I'm going to be the one guy like, you're crazy. It doesn't matter. It's just to me, it was easier for me to, when I can get parts at O'Reilly's or AutoZone for any of my vehicles, it's a heck of a lot easier than going, oh, your part's 2 weeks out in Atlanta or Ohio or wherever. Diesels were that kind of problematic to me, and so, and they're just easier. Gas is just easier to work on. That's my opinion. Like I said, there's not a right way or a wrong way, but I would say that I just depended more on what I know is with us. What we know better at. Are you a diesel mechanic? Well, you might want to. You might want to go that way. So
Gas is
that's where I
cheaper,
go. And and altogether, gas is just cheaper to run. So to buy, absolutely. I would also say, if you're new, I would not buy new. I just wouldn't do it. That's just me. You're just that, but there's not a wrong way to do this. It's just the saying. My suggestion would be, look, take it easy. Try to find something that's as good as you can used, and go for it, because you're still going to have a pitfall with a new van. I mean, so many times I've bought a new van and the damn thing sits in the dealership for 5 weeks with no, and it's it. And so it's just a paperweight. So you're going to have the same problem. You might as well, and now there are times for new vans, and we have 8 to 10 of them, but there are just different times. So that's just my opinion, though. Yeah.
Thank you.
Over the last couple of days, I appreciate everyone's opinion and your information, but we've heard a lot of times when you say fire sale or dumpster fire, or things that contractors that are going under, and you'll get that information from FedEx. Is there a common denominator on those contractors going under, or is there a real mix of, you really screwed this up? Is there some
Fear of change.
Okay.
Absolutely. The goalpost, ever moving, ever shifting,
Yeah. So they just don't want to, the training was a big thing, right? People didn't want to lean into the costs and the timing of change with that. 2.0, they don't want to do that. The boxes are getting too big, they don't want to do that. The cameras, technology, change is hard, and you will find that mostly contractors are trying to get out, right? Fire sale, for 2 different reasons. One, they don't want to change. So FedEx sucks, everybody sucks, right? You don't never look in the mirror, right? Never your problem. It's always everyone else. So like just get out, right? But they haven't. The problem is they didn't get out in the right way. They just bucked change or refused and didn't comply, and then got to a point where they're like, I'm losing everything. I'm losing money. I'm losing, right? They're just doing things all the wrong way, or maybe overpaying employees so that they don't have to manage, right? So kind of the 2-year-old with the iPad, right? Pacifying your employees, give them 40 stops and $200 a day. Guess what? You wouldn't have to manage me either. Right? It's a half a day's work for a really good day's pay. That puts people out. And then the last one I would definitely say is compliance. If you're caught cheating, they're going to give you a small window to get out, right? And you have to get out quick. So the fire sale is I need to get as much money out of this before you take it from me. Okay, so they want at least their payoff on their trucks. They want a little bit of money to hold them over until they can figure out the next move.
I think the 2.0 part is huge.
Yeah.
Huge, massive. Like, you either 6 months out, if any of you are about to transition or anything like that, if that's what you're doing, it's an entire culture shift within your company. It is a mentality shift for your drivers. We were always trained, if you pass up a stop, we're fighting, right? Like you do not pass up stops. However,
Now you pass up 10.
with 2.0, you have to. You've got to be able to be flexible. You've got to be able to shift. You've got to be able to go, hey, I know you normally start here and end here, but today or tomorrow you're going to have to start here and end over here. Like it's the versatility. You got to start talking about it as soon as you know it's coming. Because if you don't, you'll run into that I refuse to change driver who just doesn't want anything to do with it. And then all of a sudden 2.0 hits and they're like, I'm out.
And from a fire sale standpoint, remember you're running this business, so you basically need the revenue, right? The people and the trucks. You don't, unless you're going to SBA, you don't need their tax return, right? I don't care how you run your business. I don't care if you have a Maserati under the hood of your maintenance shop. I don't care. I don't care if you're paying yourself $1 million a year. I don't care. I don't care. I just want to see the hard numbers. I want to see the revenue, and I want to see the basic needs of the contract. What trucks you're running, what your payments are, and what you're paying your employees, and what they're doing. What the efficiency looks like. From there, run your own business. If you're willing to roll your sleeves up, or you got a BC that's willing to roll their sleeves up, buy a fire sale. Get in cheap and figure it out. But you're going to have a lot of work to do. If you want to be an investor and kind of get in this space and you're kind of hands off, then buy a good business. But you're going to pay for it one way or another, right? Because if you buy a broken business, you're probably going to buy new trucks. You're going to go through a lot of growing pains, so you're going to need the capital to fix it. If you buy a oiled machine, you're not going to need to invest a ton, but it's going to cost you more. So 6 to 1, half a dozen the other.
I would back up just everything they said with one thing, is that I just came from, in our terminal ourselves, we have probably 5 different failures. And every one of those situations was something she said, but also it's just attention to detail on certain things. You just, if you don't, I didn't realize it until the last 10 years, but if you don't come to work every day knowing that you're going to do something different, possibly, like, it's so amazing how many things FedEx will change in months, just from one month to the next. And if you think for 5 seconds that you're going to
be the best of the worst,
that guy, yeah, exactly. If you're going to buck that system, they will throw you down, and there's nothing to it. You will do what they say, and so you're at the mercy. And you say, well, that's not right, or that's not whatever. That's your opinion, but you're hooked to a major. I mean,
That train's moving.
yes, this company doesn't. They are not playing with me. They don't give a rip about me. And I would say that maybe Spencer would know the same thing. He tangled with that a little bit too, but that's fine,
But again, that's the perception that they're your partner.
Sure.
Right? They're your customer.
Absolutely.
Once you get that mindset right, that they're your customer, then your expectation of them being all warm and fuzzy to you changes a little bit.
And they don't
And as I mentioned in the earlier session, they outline very specifically the expectations that you are held to. And when the change is coming, they outline that as well. You choose to do something different, you're walking into it.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that's part of it too.
I don't think they want you to fail either.
They don't want you to fail. They want you to do the right thing.
But
it's interesting if you think about your worst employee, right? They're typically bitching and moaning about you, right? I get it, right? I got it today. My paycheck's short, this, that, and the other. You guys suck. I'm like, you literally call off once a week. Your service is terrible, and my guys are in your butt every week about your service, right? So FedEx is going to do the same thing. It's just trickle down, right? So the employees that are complaining the most are the ones that are not complying. The contractors that are failing and complaining the most are the ones that are not complying. It is seriously just, it's just very...
It's that simple.
Yeah, it's that simple. It is that simple. So, you do the right thing, you show up. And I did say that we try to do be the best of the worst. We try to be the best of the best. Fail gracefully. If you are trying and shit happens, FedEx is going to give you a lot of grace.
Yeah.
They don't want to get rid of you. They don't want to start over. As a matter of fact, like these guys, that work for me, they're like, "Oh, you just want to fire me?" I'm like, "Actually, I don't.
Yeah.
I just want you to come to work
Yeah.
5 days.
I just
That's
spent-
it.
I just spent
Actually,
last-
I want the opposite of firing you.
just
I
spent
want
the last-
gainful employment from you.
I
Like
spent
that's
the last
great.
2 months putting into you.
Yeah,
I don't
so
want to
that's where
fire you.
FedEx is, though, basically, right? That same thing is they don't want you to fail. They just want you to be successful. So if you're trying, they are way gracious, give you a ton of grace. They know that you're trying. They know you're a good contractor. You know that you're doing things the right way. They want you to grow. They want you to be there. You have a rough day or you lose a couple people and you go through a hiccup, they are super helpful and they will hold your hand. So yes, they are black and white, but it's not black and white, and I'm not going to give you the rules to the game, right? They're there for you. You just got to play by them. It's their sandbox, right? They're the customer.
I
You
literally say that all the time.
I choose to play in this sandbox every day for 20
Not my
years.
sandbox, man. Like, it's-
If I didn't want to play in the sandbox and I don't like the rules, then every year I get a choice to make, right? When they give me my money and my offer, I can say, I don't think this works for me anymore. But I don't.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them all a round of applause for these great questions. Great questions from everyone. Great answers. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you all for coming this week. We appreciate it.
Especially good